Hey guys, hope you're doing well. I will be live in just a few minutes. I'm going to be working on a new envelopes and tag journal. And this time I'm going to use craft envelopes from Wow Studio. So stick around. I'll start in just a couple minutes. I'm going to pull it up on my big screen so I can see you guys chatting to me. Hi, Dina. I am good. I am good. How are you? Hi, Lisa. Hi, Candy. Let me know how the picture looks. I was using the camera earlier. I was live with Tina, and it just seemed a little out of focus, but it seems good now, which is surprising. I'm not sure why it would be better now than earlier. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Just let me know how it is. Let me know how sound is, all that jazz. We'll get started in just a minute here. Give everybody a minute to come in, get settled. Let me know you're here. If you enjoy the show, feel free to like the video, please and thank you. I have somehow misplaced a giant red cup of ice water. Oh, good. I'm glad. Okay. Thank you, Dina. Like, I am not sure what I did with it. It was a huge cup. Oh, I just found it. Okay, all good. Never mind. All good. I was worried that I had sort of tipped it over or something somewhere, but I can see it from here. Go figure. How is everyone? What are you guys working on? That's right. You're so right. You are more right than I want to give you credit for. Sassy ass. Oh man, William, my husband, made me a drink with dinner, and I always forget how sleepy it makes me. Excuse me. But I haven't been here in a while. I'm glad to be here. Things kept coming up, but tonight I have the time and the space and the energy, and people have been asking for this, so I think I'll give it just one more minute and then we'll get started. So this is it's a book, an artist book. Mini album doesn't work. Mini book kind of works. Art journal doesn't maybe necessarily work. So I think calling it an artist book works really well. This is, you know what? We had a Lynchburg lemonade. Does that make sense? Is that right? Hi, Lynn. Miss Lynn. So like a Lynchburg lemonade has like, well, I don't know what goes in it, but the one that William makes is lemonade and Canadian whiskey, which I got him the Canadian whiskey to drink with ginger beer because when we were in Australia, he drank that with friends of ours and he enjoyed it. And then, so for Christmas, I got him the stuff to make the ginger beer drink. I don't know if it had a name, but for nostalgia's sake. So he just has some Canadian whiskey left over now. So Lynchburg lemonade. It's pretty good actually. And tonight, like we tried it with strawberry lemonade and it was good. So yes. Anyways, okay, sorry. So back to this. I made this book out of coin envelopes, out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Apparently 10 is the number of choice because that's exactly how many I grabbed of the craft envelopes. So I love these little coin envelopes. They seed envelopes, whatever you might want to call them. They're fun to make things out of. They're really fun to include in journals. It's just really good fun. So I started carrying them in the Wow Studio shop because not everybody wants to buy 1,000 of them at a time. So if you're shopping at Wow Studio, it's easier, you can pick these up in packs of 20. But people have been asking me because I started this project so long ago, how to create the base. And I absolutely will show it again. Hi, Annie from Chicagoland. I'm DeeDee from Sin City, from Las Vegas. But so we're gonna, this is a free video somewhere. Over the last couple years, I have sort of switched from Patreon to YouTube. And when I was on Patreon, then there were Facebook only videos. And Facebook was sometimes in a group and sometimes on my page. Anyways, now everything is on YouTube. And that video is sort of like lost in the void somewhere. So I'm going to recreate the base of this book, which I've been working on here on YouTube. I'm going to recreate it using craft envelopes, which is really exciting because I love everything craft. My chipboard from Wow Studio has this gorgeous dark craft finish to it. And I'm really excited actually to make this journal, this little book. I'm not sure where it's going to go. I don't know. I'm going to try to sort of keep this one flatter than this because obviously there's a big difference here, which is really funny. But we'll see. All right, so let's get started. One of the first things that I enjoy doing and like to do and sort of gravitate towards is a little dry brushing with gesso. So I'm going to get out some gesso and a paintbrush, and I've got my envelopes here, and I'm going to do this portion before I bind them together to make the base, and only because it's easier to move them around. And once I get the base glued together, and you can kind of see it here, then I just have all these pages that sort of go all over the place. Like it's a lot. So instead of having to wrangle and worry about left, right, up, down, like that, I'm going to do a little bit of the background work before I glue them together. So I've got and my space is a mess. I'm sorry. This under paper is still getting some layers on it. And then I'll set it to the side for collage fodder and work on the next sheet. But it's not quite there yet. So it's a little messy, but don't worry. Everything can be seen well. I'm going to squirt some gesso out, maybe. There we go. Got some gesso. I'm going to get a paintbrush. I'll be using a Simply Simmons 1-inch wash brush for this. And it is dry. So I haven't dipped it in water or anything like that. I want to do a little bit more of a dry brush effect. And so that's where there's like almost or no moisture on your brush, and you can kind of just scrape the gesso around. And you're not really covering the whole thing. I just want some little sort of splotchy areas on my coin envelope. Well, or I can, it's going to be one of those nights. Or I can absolutely soak the entire card in gesso as I fling it across the page, across the workspace. When I am applying gesso, I'm going to put the gesso in different areas. Like I'm putting some in the middle, some on the edges, some at the top, some at the bottom. I'm not concentrating on covering the whole thing because I really, really enjoy this craft color and I want to get a lot of use out of that. Like I enjoy neutrals, blacks and whites, neutrals, vintage text, craft. Like I love that color palette, and it is, you know, my go-to. So I'm not going to cover up all the craft, but I do want some life on these, and it's much easier to add that now than to come back in and add later again when it's sort of all connected. Oh, Annie, you did. What did you win? Where did you win that from? That's really exciting. Is that from Nina? Congratulations. Nina is, well, I'll wait until you tell me if it is Nina, but Nina, either way, I guess, Nina is a kick-ass chick. I really like her. And you know what? I don't have to put gesso on each one. And I can put it on the front, I can put it on the back, I can put it on both. And I'm not even thinking about it. The only thing I'm thinking about is not covering the whole coin envelope, and not putting it in the exact same place every time. So you can see if I put these, if I face these all in the same place, the same direction, well, so some of these will need some stuff on the back still, but there we go. But there, you can see it's not all in the same placement. Just getting some stuff down, getting a good start. Maybe one of them I do cover the whole thing. Or really close to the whole thing. And again, backs, fronts, just getting some down, starting those backgrounds. And the great thing is the gesso, I'm using it in thin layers, so it is drying really quickly. I'm able to flip them over, work on them, set them to the side, and by the time I get back, it is dry. So that's nice too. Again, thank you for being here. Glad to have you. If you're enjoying the show, give it a thumbs up. Little interaction always helps the YouTube algorithm monsters, that's for sure. All right. Okay, and then that one I'm going to leave blank so I have some blank ones. Yes, Nina is great. I really like her. She came to the Mad Matter workshop that I held here in Las Vegas, the dye pot workshop that I teach with my friend Tina. She came a couple years ago. I mean, it was definitely pre-COVID, but it was a long time ago. Okay, yeah, I was double checking. So when I glued these on, I did do every other, so like I reversed it. So this one is pointing down, facing, the opening is facing the desk. So this one's going to be up. And the reason I do that is because they fold, and then I can fold them accordion style this way. I'm going to use, so there is a glue tab here if you want to wet it. That's okay. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just use, not just, I've been trying to practice not using the word just, because just always sort of diminishes what you're doing, and that's obviously not what I'm aiming for. I'm going to use Yoo-hoo for this process. I'm going to keep the Yoo-hoo away from where the coin envelope creases, and I'm also going to keep the next envelope that I'm gluing down away from where the coin and the bottom one creases. And the whole reason is when it folds over, I don't want to have to worry about it not closing because it gets too thick in that spot. So one of my tips to you is, if you're worried about whether the crease is going to be too thick after you've glued your envelope down, like if you're not exactly sure how far down to glue the next envelope, you can crease your coin envelope beforehand, and that is absolutely okay. Like, and it's so silly. It's just one little trick, but it's really can make the whole difference and help you position your next envelope much easier. And I will continue to build upon this. And also check that my glue job is straight, because I don't want my accordion base to be all wonky and jagged. I want the base itself to be nice and neat. All right, looking good. I love it too. Hi, Debbie. Glad you're here. Dina says that she loves the look of the gesso on the craft, and I absolutely 100% agree. It is so nice. It's gorgeous. It's just, I love craft so much. And it's really, really, really delicious. All right. Yay, Lynn. Yeah. And you know what? I also started stocking craft tags. So like these manila ones, I have them in craft now too. And William and I are really close. As soon as we get a house and the new workshop set up, I'm going to extend the sizes. Right now we have like sort of standard 1, 5, and 8 sizes of tags. But as soon as I have the workshop all set up, I'm going to extend the sizes and have everything. So I'm really excited about that, actually. It's a little ways out, but just know in the future we'll have all that for you. Where is Angela Green? I hope she's watching quietly because she really wanted to see this. There, look, our accordion is starting to come together. All right. some, that little bit came off of my glue stick and now it like refuses to go in. It is also helping that I'm laying the the coin envelope on top of the next one so that it stays straight and it doesn't get wonky like I mentioned earlier. Because if you spread them out like this and glue them in a straight line, you may end up sort of getting kind of crooked. So, oh good, Terry, I'm glad. Yeah, I know, like I said in the beginning, and maybe you missed it, but I know that there's a video somewhere floating around in the abyss that has these instructions, but when the craft envelopes came in, it was the perfect opportunity to show you guys how to build the base, and also I get to play with the new craft envelopes. gives me a reason to use them, which I love. I can't believe it's Wednesday. I can't believe it's March. Every day I wake up and I'm like, man, there went another day. I love craft too. I think that's why I love chipboard so much. I love craft paper, craft envelopes, craft tags, chipboard, cardboard. There's just something about it. Thank you for your very sweet comment on Instagram today, Terry. I am very honored that you took my class at Scrappy Chic. I can't wait to do it again. I think we're going to plan a live class, like a Zoom class. But we'll see how that works out. Eventually, I will be back to Scrappy Chic. So, eventually, I will be back to teaching in-person classes in general, including Mad Matter workshops and anything else I feel like putting together. All right. If you can believe it, in 20 minutes, including gesso time, so probably more like 5 minutes, I now have this little awesome accordion base to play with. Look at how neat that is. Isn't that cool? And because it's just these coin envelopes, you can still stitch on this. You can, you know, run it through a typewriter. You can do lots of things to this still. It's not thick yet. It has lots and lots of open opportunity. And from here, I'm going to get out the gesso. I'm going to get out my black pen. I'm going to, I'm going to play. I'm going to do some things. I'm going to try to keep it a little flatter than the last one. But other than that, I don't know where this is going to go. So this is the first one, and it's not done yet. I'm still building up layers on it and playing with things. Oh, and so it's called Tags and Envelopes because after I had it together and I did some work on it, then I had also done some work on a whole bunch of tags, and they all turned into tip-ins. So you can see them here, and each one is like absolutely special and different and unique. And one of the really cool things about working on an accordion style base is that you get the fronts and you get the backs. So it's just, you can tell a whole different story if you want on the back. It doesn't have to be the same as the front. It's just really, really fun. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on in general. So this guy's not done yet, but I'm going to keep working on this one tonight because I just started it and it's exciting and fresh and new. Yeah, look at that. All right, so I am, oh, I forgot about my brush. Of course I did. Got carried away. But that's all right. I'm going to do a little more gesso work now that it's together and I can kind of see what's happening. And I want to sort of brighten up some spots. So I'm going to try not to apply gesso in new areas. I just want these areas to be a little bit brighter and heavier in paint. It is a little difficult to keep the dry brushed look when you do that because the paint gets thicker and it's not exactly the same. So I'm not going to do it to all the areas, just a couple. And so you can see me here kind of struggling to keep it under the camera and work on it because now I've got a long tail to the right, I've got a long tail to the left, and there's just a whole bunch of spaces, whole bunch of big area to sort of move around and play with. But it's okay. You get used to it. And if I wasn't on camera, it'd be a little easier too. Let's be honest. I love these spots where the bottom coin flap flips over and it's different than what's going on the base of the envelope. Like, that's so fun to me. So I'm going to really try to preserve that, I guess. And look, I just love the dry brush texture when it picks up the texture of the paper. It's really, really good. All right, give that a second, make sure that's dry, and then look, I get to flip it over and do it again. Thanks, Karen. Thank you, Annie. Oh, I just got gesso on my camera. Oh, I think that's first time for everything. It's all right, matches everything else in here now. Did you see that brush coming towards your face? Man, there really is nothing like gesso and craft. Like, it is just so good. I love it. It's such a unique relationship compared to everything else, whatever, paint color combos, paint combos, other paper choices, other supplies. Just gesso and craft is where it's at. I think I'm probably making the manila coin envelopes. Oh, you know what? That's another thing. So no, that's another thing. This is craft. This is also craft. Did you know that? This yellow is also labeled as craft. It's very school bus yellow. And I would almost call it manila, but it's not manila. I don't know. Vintage envelope. That's funny. All right, this time I'm going to remember to put my brush in the water. I'm going to take my sweater off so I don't get too warm. Now, I will say, well, I guess it is too late. I was thinking that On this one, I sort of have a floppy back, and I was kind of thinking how to secure that. But if I don't get too heavy on this one, it probably won't be that big of a deal. So I'm going to get out, what do I want? A black pen, a black Stabilo, some black paint. Yeah. I'm going to do some black paint, some black acrylic paint, because I know that it's permanent when it's dry. I'm going to get out a little palette cup. And a little bit of water. And my golden fluid acrylic. And then I've got like the tiniest Grumbacher watercolor brush. And I do know that I said watercolor, but I am using it with acrylic because I want to. Now, the thing to keep in mind if you're following along is that where you see the craft, it's untreated. It's just straight craft paper folded into a coin envelope. And the gesso is a primer, but because I have both happening on the same surface, I have the paper revealed, the paper as a surface, and then just little areas of gesso. The paint is going to react differently depending on what surface it's on. So I am adding lots of water to it, and it may bleed out in the paper. It won't on the gesso. Well, hope I wanted that mark there. But also, it's still acrylic based, and you know, it may not bleed as much as I think it's going to. So I'm going to paint some stripes. Are you guys working on anything right now? All right. Pulling those stripes to the end there. Got a little sloppy with that. That's all right. And I can also dip my brush in water and get some nice fluid motion happening. And not forgetting that there is untreated paper where the paint is not going to move around as much as it will on the gesso. See, it's going to soak right in. That's okay. I know that that is going to happen, and I am comfortable with it because I know it. So as long as you know how your materials will react, you won't be surprised by what's happening. That being said, experimentation is like the key to life. Like, you're really going to branch out if you experiment and play with things. So just because you don't know what's going to happen doesn't mean you shouldn't try something. Because it could change your life, whatever you try. Truly, I've been there. $19 journals out of junk mail. That's insane. That's so awesome. Collage fodder. Yes. How's that going? What fodder are you working on today? All right, I turned off my heater so I can turn on my heat gun. So we aren't waiting all day for this to dry. Oh yeah, stamped numbers. That's a good one. Definitely. Man, I love numbers so much. Yes, black ink on craft. That is where it's at. You are speaking my language. Let's see. And I have no doubt that I'll be back in with much more black mark making eventually. But for now, this is working well. This is sort of sating me, and this is working out. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Oh, geez Louise. All right, let's leave that there since I dropped my brush. Not what I was intending, but it happens. Just gonna move on. Keep on keeping on. That's all we can do. All right, one of the things that you can do, should do, will do, I will do is clip this end together so I have much less to worry about when I'm moving it around. It really does make a big difference. If I had done that at the beginning, maybe I wouldn't have dropped my paintbrush. Little flick, get some really nice splatters going. If you want bigger ones, just load your brush with more paint. And the thinner, the better. So, you know, add a little water, thin it out some. I love this watery stripe stuff happening. So I am building up different layers of marks and things. And adding to the interest of this piece. I keep getting messy. I am like sort of dropping the ball a little there. That's all right. I love the black splatters too. I really love a good splatter. Nothing quite like it. Nothing quite like it. And I really also love the big areas where the paint can move around. So like those stripes on the other side. But I can bring in a much bigger area. It doesn't have to be in a stripe. And I'll heat it dry and it will push the medium around inside the water. And as some of those areas dry, I'll come back in and pull them back out, and there's going to remain a ring of color where it dried along the edge there, which I really love as well. Just adds like a whole different feel. And if you were here at the beginning, you heard me talk about the underpaper. I really love how this underpaper is looking now. So I'll probably have clean underpaper tomorrow for the supporters live. All right. And when it's almost dry, I like to come in with a paper towel and just like soak up the little bit that's left that's still wet, because it leaves a void. And I think that that's really fun as well. Adds quite a bit of character, if I do say so. Let's see. And varying the size of the brush is going to help build character as well. Using smaller brushes for smaller marks and larger brushes for larger ones. Makes sense, right? There we go. Not always a whole lot to say while the paint is drying. Sorry about that. And you can paint in marks, and you can, I mean, it's, you know, it's whatever you want to do. You can collage on these bases. Now it's like an art journal. And whatever you want, you can do. There's no reason not to. And I'm varying the sizes and the intensity of my marks. Oh, but I don't want gesso there, that's for sure. Let's fix that. That's better. I love when marks of different shapes and intensities, but the same mark shape, so in this case plus signs, are layered on top of each other. And I'm also going to do some watered down splatters. And we just have about 15 minutes left. So you got to see how the base is built, how I start to build up the pages of this artist book, the little vignettes, the little openings. Let me know if you have any questions. I know, right, Dina? It's hard. Like, before you know they're out there, you just don't know exactly how much you love them. Have a great day, Dina. I will see you tomorrow night. and some little sort of tick marks and dots and the plus signs. You know, scribbles, sort of just whatever marks you like to make. Do you have a favorite mark? Something you go to each and every time? And it might be with the use of a tool. It doesn't have to be something you're hand drawing. Maybe you love stamping the end of a spool. Maybe, oh, you know what? My friend Michelle Lacar, she taught me showed me, however you want to look at it. She taught me to use a car, like a Matchbox car, a Hot Wheels car, you run it through paint and then you run the tire treads over your artwork. Isn't that cool? I thought it was such a neat idea. I'm going back over these marks a second time. I want them to be a bit darker. I don't know what's happening here. This is kind of cool, like a little horizon type area. I love the horizon line art. I think it's always inspiring. I love what's happening above and below. Yes. Whoops. I'm so sorry. Don't get sick. I hit the camera. Oof. Yeah, the toy car was seriously a really cool thing. Like, I have a couple close by. I mean, they're not here at my desk or I would show you, but yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. You will enjoy it. You can do it, through paint on whatever you're working on. You can do it when you're jelly printing. Like, there's lots of opportunity to make it work. Yep, anything can make a great tool. That's right. That's absolutely right, Debbie. I agree. She says that Seth Apter uses the spirals from his journal, from a bound journal. That's really cool, too. Seth's a pretty inspiring dude, I ain't gonna lie. But what's your favorite mark, Miss Debbie? Get that back in the water. Let's see. Yeah, spiral. I love like white on white and black on black. And of course, I love like white and black on other things, craft and vintage text. But I'm going to use my Pilot Precision Precise V5 to do some asemic writing on this dark background that's already here. And so then it'll be black on black. All right. Oh, polka dots. Yep. I love a good polka dot. I really do. I love like distressed polka dots. I love wonky polka dots. I love perfectly like even polka dots. It's all so nice. I'm a fan. And so last time I had this on the right. I'm going to switch it up this time. I'm going to look at things. I'm going to turn them around. I'm going to be upside down. I'm going to be left, right, up, down. When I do that, it puts me in a different headspace. It lets me see the artwork as a different piece. And then, so when I'm working on something that's a bit more abstract like this, I don't, like, it just helps evolve the piece in a different way than it might have if I had just looked at it straight up and down. And as I continue to work on it, again, like I'll close some areas, I'll have it open, I'll close different areas, and then they're all going to sort of play into each other and become a whole cohesive piece while sort of maintaining their original identities. And I might do some image transfers, which would look really great on the craft. You know, I might do some stitching. I might bring in a couple fibers, some book text. I don't know how much. This other one got really chunky. I do know that I'm not going to make a closure for it until the end, because on the original, on this one here, I put the closure on in the beginning. And as I was working in the book, like I used a wax linen thread and it melted, the wax melted into some of the areas. And I don't mind that grungy, like sort of wet look. But I'm going to avoid that this time. So not that I would even necessarily use wax linen thread to close this one, but just in case. Terry says, would I use any of my stamps on this? Absolutely. Absolutely, I would. Yeah, I don't have a ton of space right now. We're in a transition space, and so all my rubber stamps are put up. I've just been sort of focusing on other things, but I definitely would use rubber stamps on this. Yes, I would. And especially because I love to stamp in black ink. So there's lots of options. You can use stencils, right? I love, love, love a good stencil. What do I have close here? Yep. Here's Unwow Studios stencil numbers. Oh yeah, that you can see them really well that way. I really love to use it backwards because then it doesn't, you know, make as much sense backwards. And it's more of like a typography effect rather than it's just a number. And we all love numbers. Someone was doing collage fodder numbers. And also, one of my favorite things to do is use stencils sort of as they're intended, as a tracing aspect. I think people forget that we can do that. So do that. I got 5, I got 4. Let's do 3. And this is the big, big chunky, like they're big numbers. This is a 4x6 stencil, so you can see how big the numbers are. And their stencil version numbers, which I think is fun. Oh yeah, look at how cool that is. Good stuff happening. Very, very, very random and organic. And oh, thank you, Terry. I love my stamps too. I do. And then, so I should tell you, and I meant to tell you, this pen is not permanent. So it is water reactive. And, you know, it's important that you keep that in mind because this is a base layer. There's like stuff going on in the beginning. And eventually I may go over this with something else, another wet medium. And so I can go in and activate this and give it a whole different look, which can be really fun. If I didn't want that to happen, then I shouldn't use that pen, or I should wait until the end to use that pen. But I don't mind. It's just a different look. Oh, and if you can believe it, our hour is up. So last chance, ask me if you have any questions. Otherwise, we're done for tonight. I will see all of you supporters tomorrow night to work on, I don't know yet. Whatever I decide. Oh, actually, I do know. So we're going to work on the secret tag book. And it is, we're going to see how that gold foil worked out on the fabric. I'm so excited for that. It's like all I can do to not scrape it off and see. Hold on, I'll give you a sneak peek of what I'm talking about. I just want to finish this. Okay. So there's that. I used 10 envelopes. And it's really long. And then here is, so we're working on the secret tag book, which is a Wendy Solganic. So Willa Wanders. Is that right? Why can't I think? I think it's Willa Wanders on Instagram. So this is, I made the base of the book with her tutorial, but now I'm going in and working on each of the pages individually. So this I'm doing on YouTube Live Tuesdays and Thursdays for supporters, but we're going to see how this gold foil took to the fabric tomorrow night, first thing. I'm really excited. But so here's a work in progress with that. And I'll see you supporters tomorrow, and I will see everyone else on next Wednesday. Hi, Sherry. You just popped in at the end here. I'm getting ready to shut it off, and then you can watch the replay. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the show. Thanks for being here, guys. Yeah, I'll snap a couple of quick photos of this tomorrow, and see you guys around. Oh, good. I'm glad you got to watch, Sherry. You guys have a great weekend if I don't see you. Oh, excuse me. Swallowed my air. Jeez Louise. Oh. Bye, guys.